Hi, everybody. First off, I just want to say thank you for a wonderful first day. It was so good to see all of your faces and connect those faces to names that I had had on my roll for a few days. I hope you got everything that you needed. And as always, I want to remind you that I'm an open book. So if you have questions, don't be afraid to email me, shoot me a text. I'm also always happy to schedule one-on-one Zoom calls if you need anything in particular that may be different from your classmates. Okay. So we got through the first day of class. For day two, you'll see I'm on day two, May 19th in Blackboard. I have focused mostly on the technology of what we'll be using for the next 3 weeks. So you'll see here there are 3 articles for reading material. Again, it's on technology and its role in fashion. It's very important to me that um, everyone in this day and age has an understanding of technology and a certain comfort level. But in particular, we are working in a very female-dominated industry in terms of, people on the floor actually doing most of the work. And a fantastic way for you to move ahead in your career is to, again, get comfortable with technology. You don't have to be a coder to feel like, you have a place in technology, but you should be able to read up on it. You should be comfortable enough with it to speak to its importance in whatever role you have at whatever company you end up at. Okay. So to that end, there are 3 articles here. Um, how can technology save fashion, fashion education, and startup accelerators, which is of particular interest to me because it relates to my master's degree and some of your certificates in product innovation. If you have an idea in the future, I want you to be aware of opportunities, as it relates to fashion and technology, how they pair together and how you can go about getting some help on ideating on it and taking it to market. And then the last article is digitization, the savior of the fashion industry. And I like this article because so far, everything that I've sort of introduced in this course has been very positive about, clothes going to be fantastic for sustainability. And we're going to talk about this company Resonance on Thursday. But I like to present both views on topics. So you'll find that this is a little bit more contrary. And I think it's going to align to what I'm perceiving from some of the questions that you've generated on the discussion board. So go through and read that. I think you'll enjoy that article in particular. Okay. Now, as we dive into CLO 3D, I'm going to continue scrolling down. You're going to see that I have included a folder here of just straightforward training materials. And it's got a little introduction on it. Just telling you again that you need to download it if you haven't already. You should have done it already. But if you haven't, go to CLO 3D and download the free 30-day trial. If you have already used your free trial in another course, the login information is here. I ask that you try to use the 30-day trial first because we only have 15 licenses. There are 15 of you in the class. There are other instructors that use CLO 3D. I will, of course, need CLO 3D as I record videos. So just to make sure everyone has access, again, please use the free 30-day trial if you can. All right. Once you get it downloaded and you're logged in and you ensure that you can open everything up, I want you to also go and set up a CLOSet account. CLOSet is affiliated with CLO, and it is a platform that you can use for sharing files. And that's where I will be placing your work files for the next probably week and a half as you learn how to use CLO and you practice different skills within it. As we move into the final portion of the semester and you're creating your own garments for the final project, you will be uploading your files there, and I will be using CLOSet to give feedback and critiques to your work. Okay, and then you'll see just one more reminder here to make sure that you get a 3-button mouse if you don't already have one. If you go into this folder, you're going to see again some additional training materials. This CLO plan is actually a file that was shared with us by Hawa Studa. It's very technical. It's lots of the computer spec information. So if your machine is really struggling to run this, and you know that you are going to need this software in the future, and you're looking at buying a new machine, please consult this, take this, print it, take it with you as you go shopping to make sure that you get everything that you need. In the next area, there is another CLO guide provided by Hawastuda. It's a really helpful document. It's got screenshots. It has detailed instructions for things like key tools and windows. It's a little bit longer, so go and take a look at it. You may decide that you like having it open to reference as we work through all of our training files. I would also encourage you, if you have a printer, to think about just printing it, and so you just have it handy. Again, she put a lot of effort into it. It's a lot of really good information, and I have it printed. I reference it on occasion. Okay. Below this, you'll see I've included just some basic background information and some file information here. First off, CLO is just, it's a really large, deep program. It's going to take up some space on your computer. So I want to make sure that you understand that when you're running this program, you shouldn't have, I personally would not have any Adobe products open. I also wouldn't try to do 4 tasks at once. So when I'm in CLO, I'm focused on CLO. And that seems to ensure that my computer can handle everything really well. Okay. To that end, I also want to make sure you understand that data management is very, very important. Like any program, as you work on your files, I want you to be thinking about your editable files, and then the files that you're going to be using to share with the class or to send over email, those compressed files that are just really easy to share and work with. But beyond that, we will be linking folders within CLO. And so as you download things from CLOSet and you save them into a folder, whether it's on your desktop, whether it's on your internal hard drive or an external hard drive, make sure you designate a spot where these are going to live permanently, or at least for the next 3 weeks. Because again, when you add them to your library, you're linking them to its current place. And if you then move it, it will no longer be linked, and you won't be able to open it in CLO as easily as you once could. Okay. Then down here again, file information. Just like if you're working in Photoshop and you know that you have your PSD, which is your native format, the editable version, versus something like a JPEG that's very compressed. You're going to see within CLO, they have its own file types. And so your project files are ZPRJs and your garment files are ZPACs. I'll be perfectly honest, I still am not used to these file names and referencing them. I have to read them. Other than ZPAC, I usually can pull that out fairly easily. But it's something that as we work, you'll get more and more familiar with it, and it'll look more common than it used to. Okay. Below that, in terms of importing and exporting, CLO is a really flexible program, and it can use a lot of different file formats. And what I've done here is just pulled out the most common things that you'll be working with, and then you'll see the different file formats listed next to it. Obviously, for some of these, like animation files, you probably have zero experience with that. But some other things are going to look really familiar to you. And as we progress into the next phase of project work in this class, we'll be working with print development and graphics. And you'll see here, of course, JPEGs, PNGs, AI, and PSD files. Okay, and those should look really familiar to you. I'm going to back up. And one step further here, you're going to see again a file folder full of videos, just like we had yesterday. I have focused on introductory training and navigating in the world of 3D. So you're going to see a series of videos. They are all fairly short. I got a lot of feedback last semester that students really enjoyed the shorter videos because it sort of gave you a stopping point to take what you learned in that 5, 6, 7 minutes and go and put it into practice. It made it easier for students to also go back to a very specific video if they find themselves struggling with something later. You don't have to find the exact place that I talked about something in a 45-minute video. I also use YouTube videos. I record these and place them on YouTube because I like the flexibility of just being really easy to open up on, say, a mobile device or on your iPad or something of that nature. So if you're finding that you'd like to work with two screens and you only have the screen on your laptop, once you've watched it once to absorb the material, you might choose to have it up and ready on your mobile device again or on a tablet to work your way through the video if you need to. Okay. Now, some of these videos are mine. I recorded them last semester. Some of them will be new. I recorded today. And a couple of them come from CLO. When we did the training back in December, there was a series of training days that the professors were able to attend to learn this material. They actually, before they even trained us, had us just go in and play with basic navigation and basic selections. And so rather than reinventing the wheel, I just used their videos. She did a fantastic job, and I think you'll find them really helpful. Okay. Let's see, what else? Okay. You're going to find that most of the videos today are very introductory. So again, if any of you have taken a course previously where you had some exposure to CLO 3D, some of this may feel like you're going back to the drawing board a little bit. However, if you felt like you struggled with the 3D workspace, I would encourage you to come back and watch all of these. 3D is not something that really comes intuitively. I've worked with 3D in several different platforms, and as I've progressed through multiple platforms, it's sort of second nature for me now. But again, it takes a little time to get there. So some of these videos, again, if you had some experience in the past, you're familiar with the workspace, you know navigation, you may feel that you don't need to watch them, okay, and that'll be fine. But you do have 3 videos down here where I ask you to follow the exercise, complete the exercise, and then just take a screenshot and put it in your folder, okay? I realize that we can also save these and upload them to CLOSet and be super technical in that approach, but it just creates a lot more work for me when I'm grading. And really, this is just a quick visual for me so I can see that you're progressing in the program. So this will be easiest for both of us, okay? All right, so that's just an introduction. Again, I need you to set up that account with CLOSet. The link is here. It was actually in another place as well, so you'll see it in 2 places. But you'll click through this link, and I have placed it here so you can easily see it. CLOSet, sign up for free. Go ahead and create an account. Please use your mymail address, so mymail.vcu.edu, because I have already sent you invitations. So if you don't see the invitation in your email, you can go and look in your spam, see if it's sitting there. If you don't find it, again, set up your CLOSet using that, your email address at VCU with the mymail.vcu, and shoot me an email if you're having any trouble finding those exercise files. Okay. Now, when you get logged into CLOSet is going to look something like this. All right. And hopefully it looks exactly like this, but until you accept my invitation, it may look slightly different. CLOSet is essentially, just in the most simplistic terms, just sort of a housing, it's a housing mechanism for files. So again, you're going to see a series of exercise files that I've uploaded here for you. Again, later in this course, you'll be uploading your own work into CLOSet so I can access it and offer feedback. But again, when this opens, it should look something like this. You're going to see, obviously, I'm in CLOSet beta. I know that I'm logged in as myself because there's a picture of me. My primary menu is over here on the left side, and it runs through styles. Okay, I'm going to skip over rendering for now. And then a series of categories here, depending on how you choose to work. Most important, obviously, is the style. So if you click on recent, you're going to see everything that you have recently opened. Okay, and for me, that's going to be everything. So my all view should look exactly the same, which it does. You'll be able to see, which were mine, which might have been shared with you. and then anything that you have favorited. Okay, and I haven't favorited anything. Again, these are the files that you're going to need to access. Again, they should be accessible here under styles, but I also created an area to work. It's under company room. You'll see fashion 402. And if you click into this workroom, again, all of these files are present. All right. I will do a deeper dive into CLOSet a little later in the course. But for the time being, the most important thing you need to know is how do I get these files out of CLOSet? So first, if you needed to grab one or two of them, you may choose to, if you just simply hover, you'll see these three dots appear. You can click on that and you'll see an assortment of different options, but the most important right now is download, and you can download that single file. You also see if you hover, okay, you can check mark more than once. Okay, and you'll see that this menu opens up, and if you hover, you'll see that again you have this download option, and you can download all of them at once if you'd like to. I would urge you, again, just because I don't know the state of your machines, to try a couple at a time just to see if you run into any sort of issues with downloading. If it takes longer than necessary, you may start with a couple of files and perform some of your work and then come back and grab another couple and move on to some additional work. Let's see. Again, I already extended invitations because you'll see over here that I had the option to share with people. There are 16 people here, okay? That is going to be the 15 people in our class, with the addition of a Wastuda, who will also be able to access these files. I've given you the ability to edit these, so you should be able to download them, no problem. But things change. I haven't worked with CLOSet very much in the past, so if anything's not working exactly the way you expect, please, again, just email me, and I can also put these files on the Google Drive if I need to. Okay, but I'd really prefer it for you to get some experience working with CLOSet. And all of that said and done, I have talked about all of your materials. At the very bottom of today's folder, again, May 19th, you'll see that I've asked you to complete those 3 CLO 3D videos and exercises and place those files in the Google folder. You should continue to work on your inspiration deck and prepare for your presentation on Wednesday. Again, based on our discussion yesterday, we made the decision to move your presentation to 1 p.m., but I need your files placed in your folder by noon so I can preview them and just put together some thoughts prior to your presentation. And all that said, I think I've nailed everything down. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me, text me with questions, and I look forward to seeing your presentations tomorrow. Bye, guys.